content that you're seeing. Like, share, subscribe. Sorry, I was just cutting an onion, or a shallot rather, so totally gonna cry. Alright. So let's get on with it, shall we? Tonight for dinner, because again, the weather outside, as you can see it there, is quite dreary. Happy May 24 weekend to my fellow Canadian friends. And barbecue is not happening because although this looks incredibly messy, there's a lot of product in it to make it look that way. And I don't really want that running down my head. So that being the case, we're doing something inside, and I've got some chicken breast that I've taken out from the freezer, and we are going to do stuffed chicken my way. Now, stuffed chicken is a huge family favorite, the way my mom makes it. The kids really love it with all that cheese and that fat and that goodness, and I can't eat like that. Having gastric bypass, that's a no-go. So I've had to figure out a way to make stuffed chicken fantastic. So we are going to stuff it with vegetables. Weird, right? But that's my thing. That's my thing. I stuff everything with veg, or as much as I can. I try to figure out ways to get vegetables into every aspect of my dish and incorporate it nicely. So, first things first, I am doing this with a starch as well. Not in the chicken, but as a side dish, because I do have little people here and a husband who like potatoes, and although I may have 3 to 4 pieces, I am doing like a roasted potatoes. So the first thing I did was scrub down 5 medium-sized potatoes, and I cut them into wedge-like pieces. I left the skin on because I really like skin on the potatoes, and it's, you know, good for you to some degree. Better than with it off. And I'm soaking them in cold water to remove some of the starch. That's the first thing. Now, for my filling, there's different components for my filling, for my chicken. I've got, tripod's coming, I swear to God. Oh, I've got a pan here with 1 shallot. I prefer shallots over onions. If you want onions, go with a half an onion. I'm literally, because it's Curtis Stone Pan, I don't need any additional fat, but just to get the onion slightly caramelized, I'm literally going to put in maybe a half a teaspoon. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in. Okay, so we're going to turn it on medium here, and we're going to drizzle in a half of a teaspoon. That's it. Tiny little drizzle, and it's just to get my onions going for the caramelization. We are also making asparagus, and then I've got a nice spinach garden salad on the side with peppers and apples and all that goodness. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees because the next step is going to be to get our potatoes ready. So let's get all that ready to go. Alright, so I have drained my potatoes and kind of rinsed them off with a towel here. Okay, and I am using a Curtis Stone DuraPan as well, so I'm going to be using the smallest amount of fat for all these potatoes, probably about a half of a tablespoon. Now, in terms of your seasoning, you can really do whatever you want. We're going to be going with about a teaspoon of black pepper, probably about the same for salt. Really shouldn't have used my shakers for this, but c'est la vie. Alright, and our salt. And then, maybe this is better. Haha! About a tablespoon of oregano. Really like oregano up in this house. And about the same for paprika. Maybe a tiny bit more. And then about the same for garlic powder. So they're going to be quite flavorful. Now if my air fryer had come in, I would be doing this recipe in the air fryer. It did not. So we're gonna use the oven and about a tablespoon of olive oil. That's it. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a mix. Tripod is coming. Okay, before I make a hot mess, let me know in the comments anytime you see flowers. It's because I've made a mess. Alright, so this is what they look like. And now this pan, this Curtis Stone pan, is guaranteed not to burn. I'm going to keep putting you to the test, Mr. Curtis Stone. And I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm going to let it go for about an hour to an hour and 20. The countertop oven died, so, I mean, I always thought that it was so much powerful, you know, more so, and my timings are completely different from the countertop oven to my oven. Also, in my Actifry, it's about 30 to 40 minutes, but I did cut these quite large. So we're going to say an hour with the lid on. We'll come back and check. I mean, they're not going to be mush, so, and we're going to be stirring occasionally. Let's get these in the oven. Okay, so because we're stuffing our chicken with vegetables, maybe the tiniest little bit of cheese, but vegetables, we're going to get our filling ready, which is, you guessed it guys, vegetables. So if you don't have a home that has a gas, oh Lord have mercy, a gas element here on a stove, then you can do it under broil in the oven in a oven safe. Please put your pepper in an oven safe pan, and then you can also do it on the barbecue. Okay, so there's ways to get around it, but I want to char the bejesus out of this pepper. Once that's done, we're going to show you a very quick way to get the charred skin off, but being very careful because I want to keep this as intact as possible. This is going to be for 2 chicken breasts, and if I'm got steady enough hands today, half of it per chicken breast. It's Grand Central Station. Well, there you go. We're just going to keep turning it and let it get charred. Now in my bowl here, I've got 2 cloves of garlic minced. I've got about 5 very small mushrooms, very, very, very thinly sliced, and about a half a cup of spinach that I roughly chopped. And we're just going to get all of this as much as we can. Not the garlic, I don't care about the little bits of spinach. Alright. And we're just going to saute it because this is going to be the other part of our stuffing, right? And all this stuff is just going to kind of wilt down because it's water-based veg. We want to get all that water out before we're going to do anything spectacular with our chicken. Now, I just want to mention also, I did all of my veggie prep. Mise en place, got it all out of the way before I've even touched the chicken. So I haven't touched the chicken. It's sitting in a freezer bag because we froze it. And you want to get everything done because you do not want to cross-contaminate. I don't want to be forever sterilizing things. Just going to turn this down a little lower. Get tongs out. How you like your chicken, your stuffed chicken? I know that my bestie is just going to give it a turn. We're going to turn it all over the place, right? And if you hear a little, like, it's you know, crackling at you and whatnot, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's going to be like that. I know my bestie absolutely adores my mom's stuffed chicken. And I mean, it's very yummy. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just doesn't agree with me so much anymore. Having gastric bypass, we're just going to add the tiniest little bit of salt and pepper. Like literally the tiniest. That's it. Like the tiniest little bit. There's so much going on in the flavor department. We really want the vegetables to speak for themselves, right? This is going to be a very yummy dish. And whoever says that healthy, clean food can't be tasty, no. That's a lie. You just gotta be creative. That's it. It's all about being creative. So we're gonna let this go. When she's done, we're gonna pull it because we're gonna stuff it ultimately. And we want it to cool down as much as possible. Alright guys, our pepper. Can you see where it is? Do you know where it is? It's this big old black thing. Look at that. It's charred up quite nice. So we're going to put it in a bowl. And we're going to cover it with saran wrap, nice and tight. And we're going to put it to the side and we're going to let it hang out for 10 to 15 minutes. We'll come back to it, but cover it very tight with saran wrap. Alright, now that our pepper is all nice and covered, can you see the condensation starting to form inside? Cool beans. We're going to let it sweat. That's exactly what's happening in there. And when it's done sweating and we're ready to utilize it, we're going to use paper towel and we're just going to scrape everything off and it's going to come off so easy. Alright, let's put this to the side. And we're going to get our seasoning for our chicken breast ready to go. So it's about a tablespoon of paprika. Really and truly, if you just wanted to season this with salt and pepper, you could totally go ahead and do that. I'm also using a tablespoon of dried oregano, about a teaspoon, if I can find it, of my salt, maybe a half a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, that's all she needs. And you know, about a half a teaspoon of black pepper as well. Okay, and this is going to coat, probably went over with the black pepper, but I always do, right? Like, I love me some black pepper. Okay, we're just going to mix until it's all incorporated. Now, if you want to add garlic powder and onion powder, feel free, go ahead. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to add some garlic powder. I just got to open up a new one. And about a tablespoon of garlic powder. I'm not a big fan of onion powder, so again, you know, if there's something, an ingredient in my recipe that you're not a fan of, omit it. You know, like I'm not a fan. As most people know, I'm not a fan of onions. That's why I use shallots. They're sweeter, they're smaller, and I can literally portion control how much of the onion I'm intaking. But it happens, right? We don't always like everything, so substitute it, switch it out, omit it, whatevs, cool beans. Alright? So that's just going to be for the top of our chicken. But before we start our chicken, I'm also using asparagus, just as a side, okay? So if you want to use asparagus, go ahead and do it. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm going to, actually, you know what? We're going to wait on the asparagus, because my lid for it is on the potatoes. Ooh, let's give the potatoes a stir. Okay, so we gave the potatoes a nice turn. They're not burning, which is lovely. Now we're going to deal with our pepper. It's been hanging out for about 10 to 15 minutes. So in the bottom of the bowl, there's quite a bit of liquid. So I've just lined my cutting board here with some paper towel. And I've got another paper towel. So what I'm going to do is just use the paper towel, pinch, squeeze, rub, all those fun things, but being very careful not to break open the flesh, okay? Because the other part is that because this has been steaming, right? It cooked and then it's steamed, the inside is going to have liquid that, if you're not careful, you will burn your finger, especially if it bursts open and that hot liquid kind of splashes you. I've been there, I've done that. I've got lots of burns, so be careful. Okay, and you want to get as much of this charred stuff off as you possibly can. Okay, because it's going to taste burnt, really, because you burnt the bejesus out of this pepper. Now, the burnt pepper here, the charred pepper, is the base for lots of different dishes. I mean, you can do a lovely roasted pepper hummus, and you can do this. I like doing charred peppers when I do like a cold quinoa salad. That's really yummy. So you can see it start. See, look, it's leaking. And that's why we put paper towel underneath, and that's why you're very careful so you don't burn yourself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get all of this off, and then we'll show you how to clean out the insides. Alright, so I didn't even have to remove the stem because it totally came off, and I'm very carefully, my paring knife here, at the top, where it's already open because the stem came off, I'm literally, because I want to cut this in half, so I'm going to be very careful not to completely rip the flesh, and I'm just going around. There we go. Alright, so we want to take out all of these seeds. So we're literally being very careful, again, not to rip the flesh, and we're just going to wipe out the inside, much like we did with the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this cleaned out, and I generally go through quite a bit of paper towels when I do this, so don't feel like you need to be restricted here, or like, oh my gosh, you only used one. No be, because off camera I've got a few more here. I've got a stack of like my compostables, because if you're in Canada, much like me, you guys have probably been composting for years. Okay, now she looks, oh, I made a mess. Now oh great, she looks beautiful. So because I'm using it for 2 chicken breasts, I'm literally just going to cut it right down the center where she naturally goes in half, and I'm just going to cut it in half, and I'm going to set them aside. Alright, and now the part we need to get to, which is the chicken breast. So I have 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I'm literally just trimming off some of the excess fat here because you don't want it. Okay, and some of the membrane part, like if you find a vein and such. I don't enjoy that. I don't find it appetizing at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove that all. Okay. Oh, missed a part. Okay. Now, I'm literally just going to open up the chicken breast slightly, okay? I'm just going to go in here at the top. I'm not going in super deep, okay? And I'm just going to let my knife do most of the work, and I'm just going to open it up like that. At that point, I'm just going to run my knife along the top and slit it open so that is what she looks like, okay? I'm going to put this to the side. We're going to take the second chicken breast and we're going to do exactly the same thing. So this is a perfect date night dish. Like I said before, my 16-year-old isn't a fan of my stuffed chicken because it's not super fatty. So I did purchase him some stuffed chicken breasts already done from Costco with like sauteed apples and goat cheese, and not my favorite, but certainly he enjoys it. So I'm going to go ahead and give my hands a wash so we can use the rest of the ingredients. So if this is one of your first times to my channel, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy the content, like, share, subscribe. And I'm doing something that, you know, every time I reach a milestone I've set out for myself. So the first one is 100 subscribers. I will do a contest at that point. Once I reach the 100 subscribers, And brand new, my expense shipped from me to you, is one of my favorite kitchen gadgets that I can absolutely not live without. And that's what I'm going to be giving away. So every time I reach a milestone I've set out for myself, that's what we're going to do. So, not that I want to dirty another plate, because I'm the one who washes them. We're going to dirty another plate. Alright, so now it's time for our filling. And remember, I told you we were going to keep our peppers as whole as we can. And I did cut a thin piece of mozzarella, one for each, okay? So I'm going to take a handful of our sauteed spinach and our mushrooms and our shallots and our garlic. I'm going to put that down, put some mozzarella in between it, and then put some more of that spinach and mushrooms on top. I'm going to fold it over so it's like a little pepper burrito. Now, if I had remembered toothpicks yet again at the grocery store, this would come in handy. So if you have toothpicks, great. If not, some butcher's twine would be lovely. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm all out of butcher's twine as well, and I forgot to put it in my Amazon cart. Not that they're taking their time right now, you know, I get it, COVID-19, but when I've been a Prime member for years, it's just aggravating that all my subscriptions are, like my subscribe and save items are taking forever because other people are taking the items and they've never ever been a Prime member. Anyways, that's just my rant. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our rolled, pepper burrito. We're going to take our chicken here, and just like that, we're just going to put it and stuff it into our chicken. So yes, toothpicks would be hella helpful. I'm going to roll mine with butcher's twine. Okay, so just want to show you the process for doing this before you roll it. And if you don't have butcher's twine, toothpicks, and if you don't have either of that, just baby it and be careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash. Okay, so I've got my chicken in the Curtis Stone pan. As you can see, no fat. If you don't have a Curtis Stone pan, add about a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to finish roasting these without the lid. They're looking yummy. Taking a turn here. Oh, some are breaking. That's okay. These would be really yummy in the air fryer that I don't have yet. Alright, so back in the oven. Okay guys, these have been cooking on medium for about 3 to 4 minutes, so I'm going to turn them, right, because we just want to get a nice sear on all sides before we pop it in our 400 degree oven. Look at that. And again, I am not using any additional fat, no fat, just the chicken. So I love these pans, okay? And I'll turn them so I get all the sides here, okay? So about 2 minutes on each side for the base here, but 3 to 4 minutes on every flat surface. I've got the potatoes in the oven. They're looking great. Got the kids' chicken in the oven. Now we're going to start with our asparagus. So I'm going to add a half a cup of water with a half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to parboil them. So I'm going to let them come up to a rapid bubble for a minute to 2 minutes at most. I'm going to drain it. I'm going to shock them in cold water so that just before I'm ready to serve, some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic, and I'm going to saute them to get them all nice and ready for the plate. Okay, so the chicken is looking fantastic. Just gonna beautiful. Gonna put her in the oven, and I'm gonna let her go for about 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna check just to make sure at the 15-minute mark that they're cooked through and they're getting there. It was thicker chicken and I didn't flatten it out. So 15 to 20 minutes at 400. I'm thinking more like 15, but it's going to depend on the thickness of your chicken breasts. Okay, so for a space issue, I've pulled the potatoes. They're looking good. They're about 5 to 10 minutes away. Just give them a nice turn. They're lovely. So when my chicken comes out and it's resting, I only have one rack in this oven. And that's where my countertop oven always came in handy. But she died. So when the chicken comes out to rest, I'm going to put this back in for that 10 minutes and just re-crispify it. If I had my countertop oven, which is also an air fryer, oh my gosh, so much amazing. Dog's making a mess, but those are the potatoes. They're looking mighty fine. Alright, so we'll see you when we pull the chicken. Okay guys, my chicken's out. It looks lovely. I'm going to let it rest before I cut off the butcher's twine. Piping hot pan, and literally I just wiped it down with a paper towel. That's why I love the DuraPans. So to this I'm going to add the remaining spice and about a half a cup of chicken stock. To my asparagus here, I've added salt and pepper to taste, 1 clove of garlic that I zested, and about a teaspoon of olive oil. So I'm going to turn that on medium, and I'm going to let that saute while everything is resting. But let's get our pan sauce going. Okay, so our pan sauce is really nice. We had it on, well, we do have it on high for about 2 minutes. So I'm just going to reduce it now to low. I just wanted to make sure that all of my spices had mixed in. Asparagus is just about a minute or two away, and my potatoes are out resting, so I'm going to cut the butcher's twine off and we're going to start plating for you. Alright, so on our plate we have our garden salad that is asparagus, romaine, iceberg, peppers, apples, some cucumbers, tomatoes, shallots. We've got our potatoes here that we only used a teaspoon of oil for, and they are lovely and very well seasoned and crispy. And then we've got our sauteed asparagus. This is my husband's plate, so I'm going to put in his stuffed chicken breast, and then just going to come over here to our pan sauce, and we're just lightly going to pour over some of the pan sauce, which we made with the leftover seasoning that we seasoned the chicken with, and a half a cup of chicken stock. Just over the top like that. Simple, easy, healthy. Alright. Let's break it down, shall we? So the salad altogether, including the cheese, that I literally just grate up some cheese and throw it in a bag and throw it in the freezer, so when I want to do a sprinkle, like that's maybe a teaspoon of cheese on top. But altogether, the salad, to do the big salad, probably cost me $1.50, and I'm feeding 4. The chicken breast was $3 each. The asparagus, I bought a big huge bag from Costco for $5, and I get 4 uses out of it, so $1.25 for tonight's meal. And my potatoes 50 cents. So in the filling inside, probably about $1 because the pepper, we did use 1 full pepper for 2 chicken breasts. So for a date night, okay, this is, I'm feeding 2 for the chicken breasts, but the rest of the ingredients I'm feeding 4 because my kids won't eat chicken breasts stuffed with all these lovely vegetables. So let's look at it from a date night perspective. I would literally reduce the amount that I'm using for everything else. So for a date night for 2, $6 for the chicken breast, the filling $1, so we're at $7. I probably would only spend about $1 on the salad, so we're at $8. You know, maybe $0.25 to 50 cents for the potatoes, so let's say 50 cents from the bag. So what did we say, 6, 7, 50? it may be $1. Pair this with a nice baguette maybe if you want, glass of wine or so. But for a date night, you can feed 2 people this fantastic meal for under $8. Pretty freaking amazing. And if you want to feed a family of 4, all you got to do is just double up on the chicken breasts, right? So instead of $6 for 2 chicken breasts, it's $12. So still, feeding a family of 4, if you've got, you know, another couple joining you, this is a fantastic meal for under $20. And it was super simple and easy, really and truly. As always, guys, if you like the content, share, like, subscribe. From my kitchen to yours, enjoy.